Hello and welcome to Grognard Solo Gaming. I am the Grognard and today we are participating in the Solo RPG challenge for the month of April. The challenge has been created by Caverna Lekkis and his channel will be linked below. And this month the challenge is to use tarot cards or regular playing cards in our Solo RPG game. But before we look at the tarot cards I have chosen, let's look at the system. And I have chosen Deathbringer. And what is that? Well, it's a rules-light TTRPG set in a world of grim and perilous adventure by Dan Masters. Dan Masters is also known as Professor Dungeon Master, and he runs the channel Dungeoncraft. And his channel will also be linked below, as will the game itself, Deathbringer, that you can get on DriveThruRPG. In the interest of time, I have already prepared 5 characters for this gaming session, and I'm going to show those to you now. The first one is Voitelnitsa. She is a Deathbringer with the background of a minor noble, and her misery is that she fled a scandal. She is the leader of the party, so she has quite even stats and a little bit of everything. And a Deathbringer is this game's version of a fighter, basically. She has a longsword, a longbow, and a dagger. She wears a doublet and has a shield. She starts with 4 rations and 3 gold pieces, and Deathbringers can spend a Deathbringer die to make 1 extra attack in a round. Deathbringer dice replace class features, skills, feats, and inspiration, and every character begins each session with Deathbringer dice equal to their level. And you can spend a Deathbringer die in order to add a d6 to any d20 roll, to inflict an additional d6 damage on a successful hit, or to absorb 1d6 of damage. It's possible to store several Deathbringer dice, and you can use multiple of them at the same time, but they cannot be used to alter a nat 1, nor can they be used on initiative rolls. According to the rules, they are not replenished with rest, but they respawn at the start of a session, but I'm going to use a house rule to say that they do indeed get replenished with a long rest, and that is because this session is probably not going to be very long. So in order to see some Deathbringer dice in action, that's what I'm going to go with. The next character is Vedma, and she is a Grimscribe. She used to be a farmer, but she was betrayed by the people she trusted the most. Her strongest stat is her intelligence, and she knows 4 cantrips and 2 level 1 spells, and I have used the spells from 5th edition. So she knows Dancing Lights, Mage Hand, Mending, Prestidigitation, and Magic Missile and Sleep. In the Deathbringer game, you roll in order to cast spells successfully, so she is going to roll a d20 with a +4, and she needs to beat a DC of 10 in order to successfully cast a spell, and in case she has a critical failure, then there is a very nasty table that you roll on to see what happens, and if you're very unlucky, you simply explode. Also, Grimscribes have to tattoo their spells on their body. And also, technically, it's illegal to be a Grimscribe and use magic, so she probably wouldn't have spells tattooed on her face, but I'm going to tone that part down, and so it's alright for her to have the spells tattooed on her face. The third character is Okhotnik, who is a witch hunter, and he grew up as an urchin, and his misery is that he is wanted. He also has sort of even stats, and he uses a club and a crossbow, and the witch hunter class can cast Detect Evil once per day, Protection from Evil once per day, and Turn Undead at will, and he has a holy symbol that he uses for the Turn Undead. And after I have presented all the characters individually, I'm going to say a few words about how the party functions and why there is a witch hunter and a Grimscribe in the same party, so I'll do that at the end. The fourth character is Chumnoy, and he is a plague doctor. He also has the past of a minor noble, and his misery is that he has been disinherited, and his strongest stat is his intelligence. He also has some dex and some con, and he fights with a meat cleaver. And plague doctors have quite a few abilities. They can cure wounds once per patient per day, cure disease once per day, cure poison once per day, and create 1d4 potions a day. And then you roll for random potions on the table to the right. So you can end up with potions of acid splash, sleep, poison spray, bomb, healing, and hallucinations. The fifth and final character is Vor, who is a scoundrel. He used to be an executioner, and his misery is that he has been poverty-stricken. His strongest stat by far is his dexterity, that is at +6. And he has a dagger, wears a leather jacket, and he has some gear that might come in handy: thieves' tools, rope, grappling hook. And scoundrels have advantage when they attempt stealth, climbing, listening, lockpicking, searching, etc. And he also gets a +4 to hit and double damage if he attacks from behind. Alright, about the party. Voitelnitsa is the leader, and she is the sister of Chumnoy. And Chumnoy did some kind of evil experiments that left him disgraced and disinherited, and that was the scandal that Voitelnitsa fled, and that was how Chumnoy became disinherited. And she took his side, even though he was actually in the wrong. And her plan now is to gather as much money as possible so that she can buy land and buy sort of a new title in a new location. Chumnoy is just along for the ride. He doesn't feel any great need for a new title, but he would like to live in whatever mansion or small keep Voitelnitsa can manage to come up with in the future. Vedma has joined Voitelnitsa because she wants to discover more spells, because in Deathbringer it works that way that wizards and casters in general have to go out and find the spells in dungeons and the like. And Voitelnitsa appreciates having Vedma around, as she is older and has a lot of wisdom, and she is very intelligent. Okhotnik was sent to kill Vedma, but failed to do so, and in the end Vedma saved his life, so he now feels that he owes her a life debt, and that is why he is wanted by whatever witch hunter organization he used to be part of, because he failed his mission and he decided to join the witch he was supposed to kill. Finally, Vor the Scoundrel has attached himself to Voitelnitsa because she seems to know what she's doing. So far she has been fairly successful, and she manages to bring in more money than Vor can do on his own, so he has sort of reluctantly decided that he's going to be an adventurer. But his ultimate goal is simply to get rich. All in all, the party is quite mercenary, and their greatest motivation is gold. Alright, so I have chosen to use tarot cards and not a regular deck of playing cards, and I'm going to use this one for tarot. And the cards look like this. Just a few samples. And what I am going to do now is that I'm going to draw a random card, and I'm going to use that card as a basis for the adventure. So this card is to decide what the adventure is about. And I have drawn this, and I have to see what that is. 10 of Pentacles. So these are obviously marked coffins. So I am going to say that there is a village where the dead have started to rise, and in order to try to prevent that, the local priests have tried marking the coffins with different symbols to ward off evil, but it is no longer successful, and therefore the village has sent someone to contact the party to come and try to end this curse or blight or whatever it is that is causing the dead to rise. So let's go with that. Let's draw one more tarot card to see who has been sent to fetch the party for the mission. And oops, upside down. And I have to do this to read it. 8 of Cups. Alright, so this looks like a lonely woman with black hair. So let's say this is the mayor's daughter that has been sent to get the party. Let's say it takes 1d6 days to reach this other town where the dead have started to rise. 2 days. So let's say on a 1 or a 2 on a d6 there is going to be an encounter on the way. So there is one encounter on the way, and then I am going to go back to the tarot cards and I'm going to draw one and see what it says. It says 3 of Wands, and it shows some sort of a wizard, and he does not look like a good guy, but let's say that the party encounters a wandering wizard, and let's see what his reaction is to the party. I'm rolling 2d6, higher is better. 7 is right in the middle, so he is sort of neutral towards the party. What I will do now is that I will draw another card to find out what the wizard is going to say that he's doing. It's not necessarily what he's actually doing, and I'm not going to find out now if he's telling the truth or not. So I will leave that as an unknown even to myself. So let's see the card. And the card is the Emperor. And the Emperor clearly looks like a vampire. So I am going to say that the wandering wizard says that he is out chasing a vampire. So now I'm going to come up with some names, and then I will put the names on the screen. Okay, these are the names that I have come up with. Dvoynika Kuznetsova is the mayor of Armingrad's daughter, and Pyotr Kuznetsov is her father, and he is the mayor, and Armingrad is the town where the dead are rising. So back to the party and the action. Voitelnitsa is going to tell Okhotnik to ready his crossbow, and then she is going to address the stranger. And she asks him his name and what his business is in these parts. And he answers that his name is Grushnarov, and that he is hunting a vampire by the name of Voitelnitsa Khrushchev, Baron Voitelnitsa even. This, of course, pleases Okhotnik, who is an enemy of all things undead. But the question is if Vedma, who is power-hungry and ambitious and looking for new spells, does she realize or does she think that Grushnarov is a Grimscribe? And if she does, would she go as far as to try to escalate the situation into fight in order to get to whatever he might possess that she might want? I am going to make a roll to find out. So now I'm going to resolve a number of things. First of all, I'm going to find out if Grushnarov is actually a Grimscribe, and I think it is quite likely, so I'm going to say that 3 or higher on a d6, he is a Grimscribe, and he is very much a Grimscribe. Then I'm going to roll for Vedma to see if she figures it out that he is a Grimscribe. And the way skill checks work in Deathbringer is that sort of your proficiency is baked into your stat. So anything that has to do with perception, which this does, you use your wisdom modifier. And Vedma has a +2. So here goes. Right, and now I actually didn't say what the DC was ahead of time, and I think that's perfectly fine many times to just roll and see, because rolling a 3, I know that she has failed. So she can't make her mind up if he is a Grimscribe or not, and so she is not going to escalate this situation and try to force a fight in order to see if he had any items that she would have wanted. So Voitelnitsa is going to ask Grushnarov if he is coming from Armingrad, and I'm just gonna say that it's a 50-50 chance, so I'm rolling a d6, and I rolled a 1, so low is no, and high would have been yes. So he's not coming from Armingrad, and therefore the party is not going to try to ask him about what is going on. So they are simply going to say goodbye to the old man, and they're going to continue on their way towards Armingrad. Since the session has been kind of slow so far, I am simply going to decide that there is a combat encounter as the party gets closer to Armingrad. So let's draw a tarot card to find out what that's about. Okay, and that is the 10 of Wands. The skull seems to indicate the dead, and then the candles are just something kind of cool. So let's say that the risen dead are coming out of the town carrying candles coming towards the party. So let's get some zombie stats and then roll for initiative. So I have gone ahead and I have created my own zombie stats inspired by the secret formula in the 5e hardcore mode supplement by Runehammer. These zombies have a defense of 10, they have 5 hit points, they attack with a +1, and they inflict a d3 of damage. There are 5 of them, and they are coming for the party, candles in hand, shambling forward. And in Deathbringer, you simply roll a d6, and the highest roll wins. So zombies, they roll a 6, oh no, and the party rolls a 4, so the zombies go first. That's not a good start. And I'm going to add one thing here and say that I have decided that even though the party is a unit and they're fighting together towards their common goal, if everyone except one person dies, that character is sort of the winner. Something good happens to that character. But if everyone dies, then it's a TPK. So probably the session is going to go until all characters but one is dead or all characters are dead. Zombie attacks. The first one against Voitelnitsa. That's a 14 that hits. And she suffers 3 points of damage. Second one attacking Vedma. That's a 4, that's a miss. Third one attacking Okhotnik. Oh my god, that's a nat 20. This is not good. In Deathbringer, you don't double the damage dice the way you do in 5e. Instead, you add a d12. And also in Deathbringer, if you reach 0 hit points, you are unconscious, and if you reach negative hit points, you are dead. So let's see how poor Okhotnik does. Rolling a d3 plus a d12. Maximum damage, and that was the end of his witch hunting career. Too bad, Okhotnik. So this is the editing Grognard from the future. I did catch the mistake that it was actually a d3. I rolled a 3, so that would have been a 2. So he suffered 14 points of damage. So I did roll his Deathbringer die, but unfortunately he rolled a 5. So Okhotnik indeed did not survive the zombie attack. The next zombie, number 4, attacks Chumnoy and rolls a 17. That's a hit, inflicting 2 points of damage. And the 5th and final zombie attacks Vor and rolls a 17 and hits him as well, and does so for 3 points of damage. Now it is the party's turn, and though they are shocked by the sudden and gory death of Okhotnik, they are still going to fight on. So Voitelnitsa is going to attack zombie number 1, and she rolls a 7, so that's a miss. So then she's going to spend her Deathbringer die, and she's going to make a second attack against the same zombie, and that's a 14. That's a hit. And with her longsword, she inflicts 1d8 points of damage, and 8. That kills zombie number 1. Then Vedma is going to call upon the dark powers of her spells, and she's going to fire off a magic missile against zombie 2. And she needs to roll a spellcasting check against DC 10 with a +4. That's a 14 plus 4, 18. That is a success. And, well, let's see, 3d4 plus 3. That means, oh, she can kill several zombies, actually, because you can target different people with different missiles. So, first missile hits for 4 points of damage. That means zombie 2 is killed after 2 missiles, and zombie 3 then takes 3 points of damage. Not too bad. Right, so Chumnoy has had 2 days to make potions, and he can make 1d4 per day. So the first day he could make 1 potion, and the second day he could make another potion. So let's see what he has cooked up. Rolling 2d6. The first potion is a number 4, that's a bomb. And the second one is a number 6, that's a hallucinations type of potion, which I am going to rule does not work on undead. Bombs, however, do work very well against undead. So I am going to say that Chumnoy can potentially hit 2 zombies with 1 bomb if he's lucky, and that is without risking hitting anyone else in the party. So I'm rolling a d2, and that's a 3 for d6, so that's a 1. So he only hits 1 zombie, and the damage is, that would be a missile attack. So he rolls the hit with his dexterity, which is +2, and the AC is 10, so 8 or higher. And he rolled a 13, so that's a hit. And the damage is 7, so that means Chumnoy blows up zombie number 4 in a big fiery explosion. And that leaves Vor, and he is going to throw his dagger at zombie number 5, because then he gets to use his dex, which is +6, and he rolls an 8, and that's a hit, and the Dagger inflicts 1d4 points of damage. That is unfortunately just a single point of damage, but he is going to spend his Deathbringer die, and he is going to add a d6, and that's a 5, so a total of 6, and that kills zombie number 5. Then it's back to the single zombie number 3, that is going to now attack Voitelnitsa, and rolls a 4, so misses, and then the party is going to destroy that zombie. The party does not have time to mourn the death of Okhotnik, because now as they are close to the town, they can hear that there is general pandemonium, things breaking, people screaming, and people running in the streets. And at the end of the street they are on, they can see a group of zombies trying to break into a larger house that is more of a mansion that sticks out. And Paulina informs them that that is her house or her father's house, and they have to hurry to get there before the zombies break through the door. Everyone has to make a dex check in order to get there before the zombies get through the door. So let's see how that goes. The DC is 10. I'm gonna decide. Voitelnitsa rolls a 19. She gets there on time. Vedma 13 gets there on time. Chumnoy 14 gets there on time, and Vor with a +6 rolls a 9, 15. They all get there in time before the zombies crash in through the door of the mayor's mansion. To add a little variety and not simply have another automatic zombie fight, I'm going to draw a tarot card and see what I am inspired to add. And this is 8 of Pentacles. So someone has carved occult symbols in a tree outside the mayor's house, and that leads me to believe that there is some sort of a Grimscribe or other user of the dark arts. So let's see if we can draw another card to know something about this character, and that would be the 2 of Wands. So, well, she looks evil enough. There are not only zombies trying to break into the mayor's house, but some sort of a cultist or occultist, some type of a caster that is apparently giving orders to the zombies, and well, she looks something like that. Quite demonic, so let's see what we can do with that. So let's see if this woman, let's call her the Warlock in red, if she notices the party as they are approaching. And that's a 16, so yes, she does. And what she's going to do then is she is going to turn to the zombies, and she's going to point at one of them and speak an arcane word of dark power, and she rolls to cast a spell, and she rolls a 12, so that's a success. Then the targeted zombie is going to start convulsing, and then it's going to start grabbing zombies around it and start eating them. And as it eats other zombies, it starts growing larger. So by the time the party gets there, the super zombie is 2 stories tall. And the Warlock in red is going to cast another spell. And let's roll for that. That is a 2, so that is a failure. And what she was trying to do was to summon some rats to fight on her behalf. Then the party reaches the Warlock in red and the big fat mega zombie, And the initiative for the bad guys, a 2, and the initiative for the party, a 5. So this time the party goes first. Voitelnitsa is going to charge the Warlock in red, and she is going to signal to Vor to sneak around and try to attack the Warlock from behind. So let's see how that goes. Voitelnitsa's attack, 14 plus 2, 16, that's a hit. And her longsword inflicts a d8 plus 2 for 7 points of damage to the red Warlock. That is a nasty hit, leaving the Warlock in red covered in blood. Vedma sees her opportunity to finish the very wounded Warlock in red, so she is going to attempt to cast Magic Missile, and she rolls a 13, so that is a success, and that means she can fire 1 missile at the Warlock, killing her, and then another 2 at the big fat mega zombie that suffers 3 plus 3, 6 points of damage. Chumnoy does not have any potions that are good against the zombie, so he is going to have to attack with his meat cleaver. Is he brave enough? I am going to roll sort of a morale check for him. 2d6 higher is braver, and he rolled a 6, so he is not about to go toe-to-toe with the big fat mega zombie. With the Warlock dead, Vor would have to try to stab the zombie. Is he brave enough to approach the zombie alone? He rolls a 7. No, he is not going to do that either. And I decided to add Dvoynika Kuznetsova to the party, and I'm going to say that she is a Deathbringer, but she starts with half the hit points of Voitelnitsa. She's not quite as strong, and also she is armed with a short sword and no shield. So the question is she brave enough to go up against the big fat mega zombie? And she rolls a 10, so indeed she is. And also she is going to shout to the party that if they can save her father, then she is going to pay them the great sum of 500 gold pieces. So let's see her attack. She rolled a 9, and I am just going to say that she has the same stats as Voitelnitsa, which means she has a +2 for 11, and that is not enough to damage the big zombie. Her sword just gets lodged in the belly fat of the humongous zombie. And then it is the big fat mega zombie's turn, and it is going to strike Paulina because she ran up to it and engaged it in combat. It attacks with a +2. 18 plus 2, 20. That's a hit. It inflicts a d8. So that would be 4 points of damage, leaving poor Paulina with only 1 hit point remaining. Then it is the party's turn, and Voitelnitsa is going to begin by attacking with her longsword, and she rolls a 15, that's a hit, and she inflicts 3 plus 2, 5 points of damage. And then it is Vedma's turn, and though she is starting to feel a bit like a one-trick pony, she is a very efficient one-trick pony with her magic missile, so that is what she's going to cast again. And I am rolling to cast, and oh, What are the odds? That is a nat 1, so let's see what happens to poor Vedma. Alright, so preparing to roll on the critical miscast table. Well, I think pretty much anything above a 10 is going to be the end of Vedma, probably. Alright, well, I'm rolling. Let's see what happens. And that is a 7. That's a fizzle. That's not too bad. Spell fails. Ghostly laughter fills the area. And now it is Chumnoy's turn. And since other party members have engaged the big fat mega zombie, I am not going to make a sort of a morale check for him. He now gets to attack with his meat cleaver. So let's see how that goes. An 8 would be a miss. So then it is Vor's turn, and well, I'm gonna see if he can sneak up on the zombie. Though, does the zombie have vital spots? Well, let's say it does, so he gets to use his abilities. Sneaking with advantage, and that is, that's a nat 20, so that would definitely work. And then he gets to stab with his knife. And, oh my god, that's another nat 20. I should have been filming this. That means he inflicts... Oh, this is going to be nasty. He inflicts a d4 plus a d12 times 2. Well, that wasn't all too good. It ended up just being 8 points of damage, but still quite a lot of damage to be done with the dagger. So Vor carves out a giant chunk of the big fat mega zombie's back, and then it is Paulina's turn, and she is going to attack with her short sword, and she rolls an 8 plus 2, 10. That's a miss, or rather she fails to do any damage. I don't think anyone is going to miss this big fat beast. So then it is back to the zombie, and it is going to attack a random person that is in melee range. So rolling a d4 and skipping Vedma. So a 2 would be Chumnoy, and the zombie slams him with both fists, and an 18 is a hit, and the damage, maximum damage 8. Chumnoy, let's see, he is going to use his Deathbringer die in order to see if he can survive this, because yes, he has 4 hit points, and that's 8 points of damage. So if he rolls high enough on his d6, then he can survive. Let's see. Okay, so if he rolls a 4, then he is unconscious. If he rolls a 5 or 6, he's still standing. And if he rolls a 1, 2, or a 3, he is dead. So let's see. That's a 1. That means Chumnoy's days as an adventuring plague doctor have come to an end. How unfortunate. So the big fat mega zombie brings its big fat mega fist down in an arc, smashing Chumnoy over the head and turning him into splatter on the pavement. And that was it. And then it is back to the party again. Voitelnitsa swinging her longsword at the zombie. That's another nat 20. Okay, well, there is no chance for the zombie to survive this. She inflicts 10 points of damage, ending the rampage of the big fat mega zombie. However, before she can even begin to contemplate the horrible death of her brother Chumnoy, there is a scream from inside the mansion. And Polina shouts, "That's my father!" And everyone rushes into the mansion. And inside the mansion they are faced with... Let's draw a tarot card to find out. And this is the Four of Wands. So we have a devil type of character dancing with a woman who is potentially under some kind of a charm spell. So let us say that this is Polina's mother, who is indeed under the charm spell of some kind of a demonic creature that is inside of the mansion and now trying to kill the mayor, Piotr. And we'll also have to find out why these evil creatures are so hell-bent on trying to destroy the mayor. But first we have to fight this thing, and potentially maybe also the charmed wife, which would be perhaps not so good. But yep, let's see how this goes. Entering the mansion, the party can see Pyotr Kuznetsov on his knees. He looks exhausted, and in front of him is the well-dressed demon and a woman that is unknown to everyone except Polina. And Polina is going to say, "That looks like my mother, Dvoynika. Well, the way she looked in her youth, but I haven't seen her in years. We assumed she was dead." And Vedma is going to answer that, "Polina, dear, I really don't think that is your mother." Then 3 zombies are gonna come crashing into the hallway where the party is located, and the well-dressed demon is going to laugh an evil laughter. And then it is initiative, so let us see how this goes. The party rolls a 2 and the bad guys roll a 5. This is not looking good for the party. The well-dressed demon is going to shoot a firebolt at a random target, and the random target is, I'm rolling a d5, oops, 5, that would be Pyotr Kuznetsov, the mayor, and rolling to cast, that was an 8, so that would be a success. That means that Pyotr suffers 1d10 of fire damage. Let's see. Alright, so Pyotr only has 3 hit points, and here comes 1d10 of fire damage. Let's see. It's not looking very good. That is that? No, that is a 2. He is one lucky mayor. The thing that looks like Dvoynika Kuznetsova is going to shriek, a demonic shriek aimed at, let's see, a random target, number 2, Vedma, and it is the equivalent of a cantrip. So she's rolling to cast, and she rolls an 8, so that would be a success. And let's see how things go for Vedma. Alright, here comes 1d10 of, I guess, thunder damage for Vedma, who has 6 hit points, but she also has her Deathbringer die in case things don't go her way. So, thunder damage. She is the luckiest Grimscribe in all the lands. Alright, just 1 point of damage. Zombie number 1, random target. Number 3, Vor the Scoundrel. And attack roll, that is a miss. He has a very high defense due to his high dexterity. Zombie number 2, random target. Oh no, Dvoynika Kuznetsova. Let us see. And that is actually a miss. 7 plus 1, and he would have an AC of 10, so that is actually a miss. And the third and last zombie attacks person number 3, which is Vor the Scoundrel again, and the attack is a 12 plus 1, 13. That's another miss. So the party survived the first round of enemy attacks. Good for them. So Voitelnitsa is going to probably hack away at a zombie since the zombies are in the way. So she is going to use her longsword. A 9 plus 2, 11, that would be a hit. And she inflicts only 3 points of damage, the minimum, on zombie 1. Then it is time for Vedma, and she is going to shoot 1 magic missile on each zombie, or 1 dart. She uses the spell once. So rolling to cast, that is an 8 plus 4, 12, that's a success. So zombie number 1 suffers 5 points of damage. That means it is destroyed. Zombie number 2, 4 points of damage. It has 1 hit point left. And the third and final zombie suffers only 2 points of damage, leaving it with 3 hit points remaining. Then it is the bad guys, and the well-dressed demon, seeing the zombies get hacked to bits, he is going to retreat up the stairs, and then he's going to cast another firebolt. And let's pick a target. He shoots number 4, Dvoynika Kuznetsova, with 1 hit point. That is not looking good. Rolling to cast. A 13 would be a success, so let's see. Well, does Dvoynika have a Deathbringer die? Yes, let's say that she does, even though she was not an original character, because it's a little bit more exciting that way. Otherwise, she is very, very, very likely to die. So let's see how it goes for her. Alright, 1d10 of fire damage for Dvoynika, who has 1 hit point. That's a 2. This would mean she is guaranteed to survive, actually, because even if she rolls a 1, she is just going to fall unconscious. So rolling her Deathbringer die, and that's a 6. That means she took no damage and she is still standing with 1 hit point. Excellent. Then it is the creature that looks like Dvoynika Kuznetsova, and she is going to let out another demonic shriek, and she is going to target number 2, Vedma, one more time. So let us see if she manages to cast. And that is a 2. So actually, no, she does not. Then it is time for zombie number 2, and it is going to attack Vor again. And it rolls a 12, and that's a miss. Zombie number 3 is going to attack Voitelnitsa, and rolls a 19, and that will be a hit, and they inflict a d3. 3 points of damage. Then it is the party's turn, and Voitelnitsa is going to attack zombie number 3 with her longsword, and that is a 6. That is unfortunately not good enough. She misses. Then it is Vedma's turn, and she is going to roll to cast Magic Missile. She rolls a 2. It is not looking good for the party. Then Vor is going to stab zombie number 2 with his dagger. Actually, he's going to throw his dagger so he can use his dexterity. And a 10 would mean a 16 with his dexterity bonus, so he hits, and since that zombie only has 1 hit point, he destroys it automatically. Then it is Paulina's turn, and she is going to hack away at zombie number 3 with her short sword. Oh no, a 4, that is a miss. And Piotr is actually good for nothing right now in this fight. Well, I'll let him roll morale. Maybe he can do something. Morale check, 2d6, higher is better. No, he would have had to roll something quite high, and he rolled a 6. So he is not in the fight. He's battling his own inner demons. Then it is the bad guys, and the well-dressed demon is going to shoot another firebolt at a random target. Random target number 1, Voitelnitsa. Rolling to cast, 17, that is a hit, and well, it is not good for her to be hit with a d10 of fire damage. She only has 4 hit points. Let's see how that goes. 4 hit points remaining. How does this go? The party is simultaneously very lucky and very unlucky. Well, she is still standing with 1 hit point. The party is basically knee-deep in their own blood at this point, and it is a minor miracle that they are holding on to life. So let us see what the creature that looks like Dvoynika Kuznetsova can do. She is going to let out her demonic shriek once again. Random target number 1. Okay. It is not looking good for Voitelnitsa. Only if she fails to cast is the Deathbringer going to make it. Rolling an 11. Well, that is the end of Voitelnitsa's career. Well, if I roll a 1, then she falls unconscious, but it's so unlikely I am actually not going to film this roll, and that's a 7, so no. Voitelnitsa tries to cover her ears, but to no avail. Blood starts gushing out of them, and she falls to her knees and then to the floor, and she is no more. Zombie number 3 is going to attack, and now we are down to a d4 target. He is attacking number 1, that is Vedma, and he rolls a 12, that's a hit for 3 points of damage for Vedma. The question is it worth spending her Deathbringer die for 3 points of damage? No, she's going to hold on to that die. So now it is the party's turn. What's left of the party anyway. And Vedma is going to fire a magic missile at the creature that looks like Dvoynika. So let's see how she does. A 10 plus 4, that is a success, and she inflicts, that's 5, that's 8, that's 13 points of damage with 1 magic missile. Very nice. That actually destroys the Dvoynika creature. So Vor is going to pick up his dagger and throw it at zombie number 3. and with his very high dex, I'm going to let him do that in one round, though I am going to just roll a general d20, and if I roll something very low, then the dagger is stuck. And I rolled a 17, so it's not stuck. So he can throw it at zombie number 3. Here it goes. He rolls a 10 plus 6, 16. That's a hit, no problem. And he inflicts 3 points of damage, which is exactly what is needed to destroy zombie number 3. Very good. That leaves Paulina with her short sword, and the only enemy still standing is the well-dressed demon, so she is going to rush up the stairs and stab him. And let's see how she does. 18, that is a hit, and she has a short sword. That hits for a d6, 4 points of damage. So then let us see if Piotr can pull himself together. He rolls a 6 on his morale type check, so that's a no. He is still battling his inner demons and unable to act. The well-dressed demon is going to cast another firebolt at a random target, number 4. That's Piotr, and he rolls to oh no, that's another. I don't know how many nat 20s I have rolled today, but they are quite a few. That is not looking good for Piotr, and actually I'm not going to give him a Deathbringer die, because he is basically just a civilian bystander in this fight, and he hasn't been able to conjure his mojo. So, well, I mean, he has 1 hit point. He suffers 12 points of damage. So, one intensively hot missile fire shoots from the well-dressed demon's hands and hits Piotr in the chest, completely burning a hole straight through the man, and he dies screaming and falls into a smoking heap on the floor. And after that, the well-dressed demon starts to laugh again. So Vedma is up next, and she is going to cast yet another magic missile. And she rolls to cast. Oh no, that's a 3 plus 4, 7. That's a failure. Should she use her Deathbringer die in order to try to succeed, she would have to roll a 3 or higher. Actually, she is a selfish woman. She is going to hope that someone else finishes the well-dressed demon so she can hold on to her die in case she is hit with something lethal, because she only has 2 hit points left. Vor is going to try to pull his dagger free, and let's see if he can do that. Ooh, that's a 2. I would say no. Then it takes him a round to get his dagger free, so he can throw it again. And then it is Paulina's turn, and she is going to take another frantic stab at the well-dressed demon, while she is slowly bleeding to death with her single hit point left. So let's see how that goes. That is a 13 plus 2, 15. That's a hit. And she inflicts another 2 points of damage to the well-dressed demon. But then it is the demon's turn, and he is going to retaliate by shooting yet another firebolt at a random target. And that would be number 1, that is Vedma. So rolling to cast, and that is a 13, that's a success. And then let us see how this goes. This could potentially be the end for Vedma, even though she has a Deathbringer die. Vedma has 2 hit points, and she suffers a d10 of fire damage. Here it goes. Oh no, that means she takes her Deathbringer die to the grave. Her Grimscribing days are over, because even if she rolls a 6, that is only 8 combined with her hit points. So she is completely dead, turned into a burning pile of robes and flesh on the floor of the mansion. And that leaves only Vor and Paulina standing. So Vor freed his dagger last turn, and he gets to throw it now. And he's going to do exactly that. And he rolls a 17, that's a hit. So let's see, the well-dressed demon has 4 hit points left, meaning if he rolls a 4 on his d4, he is actually going to kill the enemy. And that is indeed a 4. That means Vor has killed the well-dressed demon, and the fight is over, though it was won at a very high cost. So this also means that the story is over. Vor is sort of the winner, and being the nasty scoundrel that he is going to free his dagger from the well-dressed demon, and then he is going to stab Paulina in the back, killing her, and then he is going to steal everything in the mansion that is worth even a penny, and unless it is nailed down, Vor is stealing it. And that is the end of that story. Well, that was an appropriately grim, dark ending. So now I'm going to say a few words about the challenge and the game and the tarot deck. Starting with Deathbringer, I think it's really great. I had a lot of fun. There is actually a rule for something called corruption that I forgot to put on my character sheets. Basically, if you do evil deeds, you will gain corruption, and if you max out corruption, then you will become an evil NPC. But that didn't really have any place in this story. Probably Vor gained a corruption at the end because he stabbed Paulina in the back and killed her, but that was it. I really enjoyed playing Deathbringer. I like the rulings, not rules approach. I like the grimdark and the mud and the blood and all the horrible things. So I will definitely be playing this game again in the future. I also enjoy Caverna do Lekkis challenge very much. It's fun to try new things, even though tarot cards is something that I use every now and then, and that I actually like quite a lot. But the main point of the challenge for me is that it gives me one more reason to do some solo RPGing and also to make a video. So I would say tarot cards work very, very well. And the one that I picked this time was sort of perfect for the type of story that I was looking for. And I didn't really have to interpret the cards. I just looked at the pictures and pretty much used exactly what was depicted. For those who are wondering where the story might have been going, in my mind, I think that the Kuznetsova family had a portal to some kind of a demonic plane in their basement. At some point, Paulina's mother got lost in that dimension, and then her father sealed the gate, and somehow he became the key himself. So now the demonic forces that wanted to open the gate again, they had to kill him in order to do so. And the whole thing with the zombies carrying candles and the occult markings carved into the tree, I think that was all part of some grand ritual aimed at opening the portal in their basement. But that was just what sort of what my mind came up with. And if I was actually going to play out the story, then I would have made sure that I brought in more cards to change up the story that I had made up in my mind. For an example, I would probably have checked to see if Polina was a traitor at some point, just to keep myself on my toes. And it was the sort of the same thinking that I used with the wandering Grimscribe Grushnarov, where I drew a card for what he was saying that he was doing, but I never drew a card for what he was actually doing. So even as a player and a GM, I didn't know. But at some point during the story, if he had played any part of it, I could have drawn another card to find out what he was actually doing. And maybe it turned out he was hunting the vampire, maybe he was the vampire, maybe he was working for the vampire. So that's a tip for anyone who is new to solo RPGs, that you can sort of leave questions in a quantum state, and then sometimes you have to sort of kill your darlings and do things that you maybe didn't really want to, but it's a great way to keep yourself guessing in a game that you are creating for yourself. And to be honest, Vor was actually my least favorite character in this game, so it just goes to show that the dice and the story has or have a mind of their own. So a big thank you to Professor Dungeon Master for creating Deathbringer and sharing it with the rest of us, and also a big thank you to Caverna de Lekkis for creating the solo RPG challenge. And finally, a big thank you to you for watching, and if you find anything that I do here entertaining, feel free to go ahead and subscribe, maybe leave a comment, well, you know, all the YouTube shenanigans. And hopefully I will see you in the next video.